Welcome back to the deep dive. We have an incredible stack of sources today, shared by you, the listener.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff.
We're embarking on a journey across Japan, focusing specifically on several distinct regions. These notes you sent dive into their culture, history, even the unique sounds and songs that help define them.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is how your sources offer such a rich look at regional identity. Shows how, deep history shapes the present
Right.
and how places find their own unique expression, right down to specific melodies and lyrics written about them. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. So our mission in this deep dive is to explore these notes. I mean, they cover everything from cultural elements, history, traditions, music, food.
Clothing, nature, people, locations, language.
Exactly. Plus, you included details and lyrics for a song for each place. So we're going to try and extract the most important insights, tailored just for you. We'll be covering Aichi, Okinawa, Saitama, Shiga, and Yamaguchi prefectures.
It's like a curated tour, really, through some really specific, fascinating aspects of Japan, and it's all guided by the material you've provided.
Okay, let's unpack this stack and jump right into our deep dive, starting with Aichi.
Okay, Aichi. Yeah, your sources immediately highlight its incredible historical significance.
Yeah.
I mean, birthplace of the three unifiers of Japan.
Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Yeah, that's a powerful foundation.
Definitely. And it sounds like that samurai heritage isn't just like stuck in the past here. The notes show it's actively preserved in local castles, Nagoya Castle, museums, keeping those stories alive.
Mm-hmm. And beyond the warrior past, the sources reveal this strong tradition of hands-on craftsmanship.
Right. We see mentions of things like Tokunia pottery and Aramatsu no Rumi shibori.
Arimatsu no Armi Shibori, the notes describe that as a traditional tie-dyeing technique, known for producing incredibly intricate patterns.
Yeah, really detailed, often seen in beautiful yukata and other garments. It's fascinating how that precision from the past seems to flow into these crafts.
That connection feels key. And history kept shaping the region, right? The Meiji Restoration led to the unification that created Aichi Prefecture as we know it.
And more recently, hosting Expo 2005. That showcased a different side, its role in, global innovation.
So you have this deep historical root and then this modern, forward-looking side. How do traditions fit in?
Well, your notes mention popular traditions like the Hunen Matsuri in Komaki.
Which sounds unique based on the description.
Yeah, the notes make it sound intriguing. And the Inuyama Festival, which is actually a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage event, famous for its ornate floats and traditional music.
Music is always such a big part of regional identity, and Aichi offers a really interesting mix, according to this material.
Definitely. There's a glimpse into Nagoya Kei, which is a subgenre of visual kei from Nagoya itself. The notes say it's known for, darker themes and aesthetics.
Interesting. But it's not the only sound, is it?
No, far from it.
Yeah.
The sources also list bands like Cold Rain, their post-hardcore SKE48, the Idol Group,
Oh, yeah, big idol group.
and the pop rock band Ryoku Shokushakai. So it shows a diverse, pretty active contemporary scene alongside those traditional festival sounds.
And then there's the food, which is affectionately known as Nagoya Meshi.
Right. This term covers a whole range of local specialties. It seems to reflect a robust, practical approach to cooking.
Exactly. Things like miso katsu, hitsumabushi, that's the grilled eel, right? Eaten in multiple ways.
Yeah, that's the one. And kishimen, those flat udon noodles. The notes even mention samurai cuisine.
Which emphasizes what? Hearty flavors.
Yeah, hearty, substantial flavors, using ingredients like miso and mirin. It sounds like the food itself carries a sort of strength and local character. Very Aichi, maybe?
That practicality seems to extend to clothing, too. You see it again with the Aramatsu no Rumi shibori in garments. And then, of course, practical festival gear like happy coats showing local pride.
Your sources mention notable people, too, connecting to performance and music, like actor and singer Hiroshi Tachi and musician Kenichi Esai.
And the locations featured in the notes really anchor all these elements, don't they?
Absolutely. Nagoya Castle, famous for its golden shachihoko ornaments.
The goldfish things on the roof.
Exactly. Inuyama Castle, noted as one of Japan's oldest original wooden castles, which is amazing. And Meiji Mura.
Oh, that open-air museum. Incredible place, preserving buildings from the Meiji era, including, part of Frank Lloyd Wright's Imperial Hotel?
Yeah, the lobby, I think.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Bringing it down to the local level, the sources highlight the Nagoya dialect, or Nagoya Ben.
Mm-hmm. It includes colorful phrases like dera umai, meaning very delicious, using dera as a strong intensifier.
Like wicked good or something.
Sort of, yeah. And yatamika, which means let's give it a try, or shall we do it?
It feels like these details, from the historical power players to the practical food and the local way of speaking, they paint a picture of a region with this deep history of strength and a really grounded can-do attitude.
Absolutely. And the Aichi song you provided beautifully weaves so many of these threads together.
How's the style described?
It's called Japanese folk rock, a traditional modern fusion. Blends storytelling and acoustic elements with, modern instruments.
In the themes, connects the history and the modern vibe.
Exactly. Explicitly links that samurai heritage with contemporary vibrancy. Sits somewhere between, traditional samisen ballads and that Nagoya Kai edge we mentioned.
What about the music itself?
Moderate tempo,
Yeah.
apparently, but with dramatic shifts. Uses instruments like acoustic guitar, taiko drums, shamisen, electronic bass, synth, bamboo flute, and cello. Quite a mix.
Okay, this is where you can really hear the sources come to life. The lyrics directly reference so many points you found.
Yeah, like the golden shachihoko roars.
Yeah.
That immediately brings Nagoya Castle to mind.
Right, and Prayers Dance in the Komaki Air points clearly to the Hannen Matsuri festival mentioned in your notes.
Owari and Mikawa blood that echoes the historical unification, the old provinces that make up Aichi.
And Soul of the Craft dyed into cloth. That has to be the Aramatsu Narumi Shibori.
Definitely. And we eat Nagoya food. It's super delicious.
Okay.
With that super delicious, reinforcing the dera umai phrase from Nagoya Ben.
Ha, that's great.
And standing at Meiju refers to Nagoya Castle. Meiju Park is right there. The Expo stars still twinkle again. Links back to Expo 2005.
The festival sounds beat through the heart that connects to traditions like Inuyama Festival.
And a recurring phrase, let's give it a try, or shall we give it a try? That's a direct use of yatamika, really capturing that local spirit the notes highlighted.
It's incredible how the song basically summarizes all these distinct regional elements from your research.
It really does.
Okay, let's transition now. We're going to a region with a profoundly different identity, shaped by its island geography and unique history.
Okinawa.
Okinawa, yeah, its history as the independent Ryukyu kingdom is absolutely central here, as your sources make really clear.
That past created a unique blend of influences, right?
Yeah.
From trade with China, Japan, Southeast Asia.
Exactly. And you can still see it reflected today in its arts, cuisine, crafts. That cultural fusion is incredibly rich. Your sources highlight the Aisa dance, performed during the Bon Festival.
Yeah, with those powerful drums and chants. It's described as a truly vibrant expression of island identity. And Bingata textiles.
Oh, the fabrics, they sound amazing.
Described with incredibly vibrant colors, intricate patterns, often depicting nature and folklore. Just beautiful.
The history section in the notes for Okinawa seems particularly impactful.
It really is. From the maritime trade prosperity of their Ryukyu Kingdom era to its annexation by Japan in 1879.
And then, crucially, the impact of the Battle of Okinawa in World War II.
Devastating. And the subsequent period under U.S. administration until 1972. This history of resilience and navigating these huge external forces, it's deeply embedded in the Okinawan story your sources tell.
Amidst all that history, traditions like the Shuri Castle Festival celebrating the old royal palace and the Nahahari Dragon Boat Race, they provide continuity.
Yeah, moments of vibrant celebration.
Music seems like another incredibly powerful expression of Okinawan identity.
Totally. Sanshin music, centered around that three-stringed Sanshin instrument, is highlighted as the heart of traditional Okinawan sound.
Your notes mention specific traditional songs, too, like Tushinduchi and Nakuni.
Right, and contemporary artists build directly on this foundation. Shukichikina and Chiplus blended that tradition with rock. They're known for Heisei Ojisan.
And even, contemporary rapper Awich incorporates the local dialect and themes?
Yeah, showing how the culture adapts and thrives. It's not just stuck in the past.
The food sounds iconic and really distinct, too.
Oh, definitely. Goya champuru, the bitter melon stir-fry. Refute, that tender braised pork belly. Okinawa soba, which is different from mainland soba.
Right, different noodles.
And the tart shikawasa citrus fruit. All unique flavors born from the island environment and its history.
And ryusu, or uchina shugai, the traditional attire, that's another visual link, often using that vibrant Bingbata technique we mentioned.
Yeah. Nature plays a significant role, too, doesn't it?
It seems so. From the subtropical Yanbaru forest with endemic species like the Okinawa rail
to the mention of the endangered Okinawa spiny rat. Highlights the island's unique biodiversity.
Notable people mentioned connect to different parts of Okinawan life. Chijun Miyagi, the founder of Guju Karate.
Big name in martial arts.
Pop singer Nami Omuro, a huge cultural figure. And the band Orange Range.
Yeah, quite a mix.
Yeah.
And the locations are deeply significant, often carrying historical and spiritual weight.
Like Shuri Castle, the UNESCO site, and former royal palace.
Sefa Utaki, those sacred rock formations.
Yeah.
And the scenic Cape Manzamo Cliff. Beautiful spots.
The language section introduces Uchinaguchi, the Okinawan language. It's distinct from standard Japanese.
Very distinct. The notes give common greetings like haisai for males and haitai for females.
And Nifi Debiru, that means thank you.
Yep. And chibario means do your best or hang in there.
The proverbs and the sources offer really beautiful insights into the island philosophy, too.
They really do. Like, do-nu do-yu ya do-a-shiru-shiru. You know your body best. Emphasizing self-awareness, self-care.
And Tira Kagiyaka Chimugukuru, kind hearts are better than fair faces. Prioritizing inner goodness. Lovely.
Yeah. What emerges from the sources about Okinawa is this picture of a place where history, especially hardship, has forged this powerful sense of identity, resilience.
And a deep connection to both nature and the spiritual world.
Exactly. All expressed through these vibrant arts and language.
That sense seems beautifully captured in the Okinawa song you provided.
It really does. It's described as Japanese Okinawa folk fusion, rooted in the Sanshin sound, but with a contemporary indie pop feel.
And that distinct island rhythm, like a triplet feel.
Yeah, often in 34 time, apparently. It's softer, more reflective, maybe a bit nostalgic, built on that unique Okinawan musical scale.
What are the themes?
Honoring ancestors, resilience, harmony with nature, cultural pride. The instruments featured include the sanshin, hand drums, paranku, and shindaiko flute, cello, synth pads.
Creating what kind of sound?
Described as having a dance feel, but also airy, like an ocean breeze.
You can really hear these elements and themes come through clearly in the lyrics you pulled.
Oh, yeah. Haisai the sunset melts into the sea, that immediate greeting tied directly to the island's stunning landscape.
The sound of sanshin finds its way home, speaks right to the heart of their traditional music.
Nifi Debiru, a thank you to our ancestors, directly uses the Okinawan phrase and links it to their history, honoring those who came before.
The wind of kind hearts softly blows, that echoes the Chira Kagiyaka Chimugukuru proverb about kind hearts being important.
Even after war, the flowers grow, sort of a poignant reference to the island's history of resilience and recovery.
When we dance Isa, Our Spirits Unite brings in that specific, powerful cultural performance.
Bingata colors like morning skies, names the traditional textile, links its beauty to nature.
We taste the bitter love in Goya Champuru, highlights the famous bitter melon dish, implying that acquired taste locals cherish.
Huh, yeah, maybe. Chibario carry hope into tomorrow uses that motivational Okinawan phrase.
At Shuri Castle, and echoes of prayer reach Sefa Utaki, naming key historical and sacred locations.
And the final line, the Song of Uchina, forever true, uses the Okinawan name for the islands, Uchina, and just powerfully affirms that lasting cultural identity, despite everything.
It really distills so much of the island's spirit from your source material. Incredible.
Truly does.
Okay, let's move north now, closer to the capital, to Saitama. Your sources highlight a different kind of identity struggle here, don't they?
Yeah, it's that proximity to Tokyo, trying to maintain its own unique local character while being right next door.
That proximity is key. It seems to define a lot about the region's modern life. But Saitama certainly has its own strong claims to fame, as the notes show.
Oh, for sure. Like being renowned for bonsai art. The Omiya Bonsai Village and Museum, that's been a significant center for this since, the early 20th century?
Yeah. Traditional crafts are also a source of pride here, it looks like. Hosokawashi paper is highlighted.
Which is notable because it's one of only 3 Japanese handmade papers with UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage status.
Wow, that's a significant recognition.
It really is. And the sources mention Bushusho Aizome, a traditional indigo dyeing technique from the northern parts of the prefecture. It seems like craft is a quiet but important anchor for identity there.
In terms of history, the formation of the modern Saitama city in 2001, merging Urawa, Omiya, and Yono, that's relatively recent.
Yeah, but it united areas with deep historical roots, like the ancient Musashi Ichinomiya Hikawa shrine mentioned in your notes.
Traditions include the Chichibu Night Festival. Your sources list that as one of Japan's top 3 float festivals.
Yep, famous for elaborate floats and fireworks. And the Azuma Asodi dance performed at Hikawa Shrine.
For music, the sources highlight Ling Tosite. They're pretty well known, right? Post-hardcore prog rock trio from Saitama.
Yeah, they are. And your sources also list other notable bands like Acid Man, Flow, and Going Underground. Shows a distinct rock presence in the region's music scene.
Food-wise, Saitama is famous for udon noodles, a legacy of its wheat production, apparently.
Makes sense. We see mentions of specific dishes like Nikomizo udon, the very wide Kawahaba udon.
Kawahaba, like river width.
Exactly, super wide noodles. And the refreshing Hiyajiru udon, a cold soup variety popular in summer. Kawago is also noted for its sweet potatoes. Sounds like hearty, practical food, maybe a bit like aichi in that way.
Clothing includes maizen kimono, a type of silk kimono known for bright, modern designs.
Right, and chichibu maizen, which uses a unique yarn dyeing technique. The sources mention museums dedicated to these, showing efforts to preserve these skills.
The notes briefly touch on nature flora, like hydrangeas, soybeans, diverse fauna.
Yeah, standard stuff.
Yeah.
Notable people mentioned include voice actor Rie Takahashi and singer Mayu Watanabe.
And then there's something fascinating mentioned, that satirical film, Tonde Saitama.
Oh yeah, it plays on regional stereotypes about Saitama being uncool. The sources say this film ironically sparked discussion and even pride in local identity.
That leads right into the humorous, often self-deprecating term, Da Saitama.
Right, the portmanteau of Dasai, meaning uncool or lame, and Saitama. It's a stereotype the region seems to grapple with, or maybe even playfully embrace, like the film suggests.
Your notes also mention the Eastern Saitama pitch accent.
Yeah, a linguistic detail. So what the sources present about Saitama is this region navigating its identity in the shadow of the metropolis.
Finding pride in its quiet strengths, traditional crafts, local foods.
And even playfully pushing back against those negative stereotypes.
That struggle and quiet pride seem to be the central theme of the Saitama song you provided.
Exactly. It's described as ambient pop with neo-traditional undertones, blending rural serenity with, like, an urban edge.
How's the music?
Soft, reflective, lightly bittersweet, but hopeful. Uses minimalist traditional Japanese instruments, koto, shakuhachi, alongside acoustic guitar, piano, synths, even field sounds, with soft pop-folk vocals.
The lyrics immediately pick up on that defining proximity to Tokyo and the stereotypes, don't they?
Right away. The train to Tokyo's Crowded Again sets the scene, the commuter belt, and then directly, isn't it lame, they always say. But hey, the sky above this town is kind again today.
And Dasaitama, but the stars over Chichibu still shine so bright, it takes that label.
Embraces the Dasaikama label the notes mentioned, but quickly contrasts it with local beauty, like the Chichibu stars and this quiet, enduring strength. We're not flashy, but we've got heart, captures that sentiment perfectly.
Time sleeps along the roads of Kawago. That references Kawago's preserved Little Edo architecture mentioned in your sources.
Yeah, and the scent of rice crackers floats in the breeze, adds a sensory detail, probably common in historic areas like Kawago.
We're close to the city, but often pass by. Still we laugh, saying, look at us, we're doing fine. This speaks directly to the region's position relative to Tokyo and that self-aware, resilient pride the sources hint at.
Totally. Festival flutes melt into the sunset, brings in traditions like the Chichibu Night Festival. And the bridge directly confronts the stereotype and reclaims it. It's okay to be uncool, okay to not shine. This place is mine.
Love that.
The final chorus reinforces the connection to the place and its people. Da Saitama, but the warmth of people sinks into your skin, and the ultimate reclaiming of the label. And Dasai now feels like a compliment to me.
Wow. The song really acts as a direct lyrical response to the identity issues raised in your source material.
It really does.
Okay, from the urban edge of Saitama, let's shift to the more tranquil region of Shiga, entirely centered around Japan's largest freshwater lake, right?
Lake Biwa. Yeah, it's undeniably the heart of Shiga. The sources emphasize its peaceful, almost contemplative rural charm and a refined cultural identity that's been influenced by its long proximity to Kyoto.
The lake shapes everything there. Your notes mention lifestyles tied to fishing traditions, local mythology.
Right, and you see deep-rooted Buddhist and Shinto practices with a strong sense of, rustic community values mentioned.
A really key cultural element the notes highlight is the shumi merchants and their famous Sanpuyoshi business ethics.
Yeah, good for the buyer, good for the seller, and good for society. A principle of ethical business that still resonates today. It's pretty impressive.
Historically, Shiga was significant too. A battleground in the Sengoku period, including the Battle of Anagawa, involving figures we mention in Aichi, Nobunaga, and Ieyasu.
Right. connects back. It's also home to Kaiten Castle, noted as a national treasure and the seat of the Tea clan.
And it's the birthplace of Saichus, the founder of Tendai Buddhism, with headquarters at Enraku-ji on Mount Hiei. That gives the region a deep spiritual layer.
Definitely. Popular traditions seem to revolve around the lake and temples.
Like the UNESCO Nagahama Hikiyama Festival, famous for children performing kabuki on floats.
Yeah, sounds amazing. And the Otsumatsuri and Ukai, the traditional cormorant fishing on Lake Biwa.
Music in Shiga, according to your sources, is influenced by the lake and mountains.
Makes sense. There's local folk music, traditional shamisen and enka sounds, and famous regional tunes like the Hikoni Castle March and the particularly moving Lake Biwa rowing song, Biwako Shuko no Uta.
Shiga cuisine sounds distinct, especially funazushi.
Ah, the fermented crucian carp. The sources note it's considered a precursor to modern sushi, a truly ancient dish.
Definitely an iconic historic dish. And shumi beef, noted as one of Japan's top wagyu varieties, also comes from here.
Right. Plus other specialties like ayugashi, that sweet fish-shaped confection, and freshwater cuisine from the lake itself, eel, ayu, shrimp. Food seems very tied to the local environment.
Clothing reflects practicality and tradition farmers wear yukata for festivals.
With a special kabuki kimono for the kids performing in the Hikiyama Festival.
Nature is obviously dominated by the lake and its unique inhabitants, like the giant Lake Biwa catfish and giant salamanders.
Your sources also mention the presence of introduced black bass, which can be, a controversial topic ecologically,
Yeah.
alongside beautiful flora and diverse bird life.
Notable people connect to the region's history and soundscape, Saijo himself and the Yoshida brothers, the famous shamisen musicians.
Right. Shiga has also appeared in anime and J-dramas, apparently, and has a very popular local mascot, Hikonyan.
The cat's samurai.
That's the one. The locations are, of course, centered around the lake. Lake Biwa itself, the original Hikone Castle, the UNESCO site Enrakuji on Mount Hiei.
The merchant town of Nagahama, the capital Otsu, and Chikubushima, that sacred island in the lake.
The local dialect is Shimiben. Has a slight Kansai influence because it's close to Kyoto and Osaka.
Your notes mention phrases like honmaya, meaning really.
Yeah, and okini for thank you. Regional pride is expressed in phrases like Biwa no kokoro, uni no kokoro, the heart of Biwa, the heart of Fumi, and referencing that Sanpyoshi ethic.
So what the sources reveal about Shiga is a region whose identity is just inextricably linked to its Great Lake.
Yeah, a place of quiet beauty, deep history, strong ethical principles from merchant traditions, and a culture that values stillness and contemplation, alongside its vibrant festivals.
That sense of quiet connection to the lake and history seems perfectly captured in the Shiga song you provided.
It really does. It's described as Japanese contemplative acoustic, neofolk, intimate, meditative, slow, warm, introspective, maybe slightly melancholic, but ultimately healing.
Themes revolve around stillness, reverence.
Stillness, reverence, transience, belonging. The instruments include acoustic guitar, koto, shamisen piano, viola, cello, creating a sonic texture described as having natural ambience and a swaying feel, like a boat on the lake.
The lyrics immediately open with that imagery from your notes, don't they?
Right away, in the morning mist, a single boat drifts. A song lingers on the face of Lake Biwa and connect directly to the lifestyle tied to the water. Living with the fish, with prayers beside us, in stillness, we find our greatest treasure.
The heart of Biwa flows so gently, uses that regional pride phrase from the sources.
The three-way harmony path still goes on. That's a clear lyrical reference to the Sanpyoshi ethic of the Yumi merchants.
Even without bustle, there's truth here. Can you hear this town's quiet voice? Speaks to the region's peaceful charm, the notes highlighted.
Exactly. Festival night lanterns softly sway, and children's kabuki plays atop grand floats directly reference the Nagahama Hikiyama festival tradition.
Old wisdom lights the present day, and we laugh together. It's really true. Uses the Hanmaya phrase from the Shmi dialect.
Nice touch. Saicho's mountain above the clouds and a temple bell rings connect to Mount Hiei and Inyakuji, anchoring the spiritual history.
Red lotuses bloom and the god's island rests. Don't forget the heart of Biwa. Brings in the flora mentioned and Chikubushima Island.
The final chorus reinforces the connection to the lake and the enduring values. Let's walk with the heart of Biwa in the breeze. Within the old ways, a future breathes.
And it uses the ikini, thank you, from the dialect. Thank you from my quiet hometown.
Yeah. The song truly embodies that reflective mood and deep connection to place described in the sources.
Okay, our final region in this deep dive, Yamaguchi, a region often called the Kyoto of the West.
Yes, your sources strongly point that out. Its refined culture, connection to classical poetry, beautifully preserved samurai neighborhoods.
And its significant historical role as a bridge to the West, particularly during the Meiji Restoration.
It's rich in samurai culture, Zen Buddhism, and traditional crafts like Hagi pottery, known for its subtle beauty, connection to the tea ceremony.
Historically, Yamaguchi's role is absolutely crucial, as the notes emphasize, birthplace of the Meiji Restoration.
Yeah, many key reformist samurai and revolutionary figures like Yoshida Shuchin came from the Choshu domain here. It was a major anti-shogunate force. Shushan Shrine is dedicated to him.
And Hagi is highlighted as a former castle town that has really preserved its deep samurai roots, its Edo-era architecture. Feels like history is still very present there.
Very much so. Traditions in Yamaguchi reflect this history and geography.
Including the Hagi Jidai Festival, celebrating Edo period heritage with samurai reenactments, cosplay.
Right. The Kentakyo Bridge Festival with boat races and fireworks, and the unique fox wedding Kitsune no Yomeri in Suwano. That sounds fascinating, almost mystical.
Music here, according to your sources, has a strong foundation in local Minyu traditional folk songs.
Especially those related to the sea and work, like fishing chants. There's also mention of ambient instrumental music and modern enka, inspired by the scenery.
And a quiet indie acoustic scene with lyrics often focused on nature and history.
Yeah, seems fitting. Food is perhaps most famously fugu, the pufferfish.
Right, Shimonoseki is Japan's top producer.
Yeah.
Your sources detail preparations like sashimi, hot pot, fried. It's a dish that carries a sense of both delicacy and danger.
Definitely. Another unique dish mentioned is kawara soba, green tea soba, served on heated roof tiles. Visually striking.
Sounds amazing.
Senzenki fried chicken, iwakuni sushi, hagi, seafood donbori are also noted, plus a significant sake culture.
Clothing reflects the traditional kimono worn during festivals reenactments.
And the distinctive red tasseled hats and white kimono for the fox wedding. The sources also mention the legacy of a sort of scholarly samurai appearance associated with the historic academies.
Nature is varied, from camellias and maple trees inland
to Japanese crane sightings, boars, deer. Along the coast and the Seto Inland Sea, there's rich marine life, including the famous blowfish and beautiful coastal scenery, rock formations, coral.
Notable people connect directly to the region's pivotal history. Yoshida Shushin,
Ito Hirobumi, who became Japan's first prime minister, Shinsaku Takasugi, key revolutionary figures from the Choshu domain.
The area's history is often used as a setting for period dramas.
Makes sense. Key locations are central to its identity. Hagi, the samurai town with its white walls and pottery.
Suwano, sometimes called Little Kyoto of Sannin, known for canals, traditional houses.
Shimonoseki, the major port city. The iconic Kentakyo Bridge. The unique Akiyoshidai Plateau karst landscape with its limestone caves.
And the beautiful Rurikoji five-storied pagoda.
The local dialect is Yamaguchi-ben, part of the larger Chugu dialect group.
Common expressions the sources highlight include jakin, adds emphasis or attitude.
Yeah, and buchi, meaning super, or very, like buchi umai, for super tasty.
Nice.
Regional pride is expressed in phrases like Chushu Shin, Chushu's renewal, referencing its historical role, and declaring Shimonoseki the fugu capital of Japan.
So what your sources paint is a picture of Yamaguchi as a region deeply conscious of its pivotal role in shaping modern Japan.
Yet one that holds on to its refined historical culture, crafts, and coastal identity with this quiet pride.
That historical depth and quiet pride feel palpable in the Yamaguchi song you provided.
Very much so. It's described as a Japanese historical ballad, ambient folk enka. Slow tempo, poetic, proud, feels like an old haiku in motion.
Themes revolve around nature, history.
Nature, marching through history, the enduring strength of the land and its people. Instruments include shamisen, koto acoustic strings, shakuhachi flute, oceanic percussion, ambient wind texture.
And the vocal style.
Subtle enka vibrato, clear storytelling cadence.
The lyrics immediately set the historical scene. In the town of white walls, shadows remain. Footsteps of warriors echo on the stone. That's gotta be Hagi.
Definitely. Don't forget your purpose, the pines once whispered, perhaps referencing teachings of figures like Yoshida Shoni from the historical academies.
The wind of Chushu blows from the hills to the sea, directly uses the historical domain name, captures the regional landscape from your notes.
In the quiet of night, history thinks. And the strength of this land lives beyond words, reinforce that sense of historical depth, a strength that's felt rather than loudly proclaimed.
In the town of Fugu, the tide scent lingers, brings in Shimonoseki's most famous product.
Warmth still clings to Hagi pottery. So live now, the old voice says. connects the traditional craft to an enduring message from the past.
The fox bride walks beneath crimson cloth, and bells of the festival ring through dreams clearly reference the unique fox wedding tradition in Suano.
Chushu's renewal, carved deep in our hearts, uses that specific historical pride phrase from the notes.
And the final chorus beautifully emphasizes the lasting impact. The wind of Chushu carries words. Even the softest voice will be heard.
When wisdom and hope weave as one, this town still breathes, still lives on. It just ties together the historical weight, the quiet endurance, and the unique cultural expressions found in your source material.
Wow. Okay. Looking back at all the sources you provided, the level of detail you gathered for each region is just incredible. I mean, from birthplaces of unifiers and ancient proverbs to local udon variations and specific musical subgenres.
It really highlights how distinct regional identities are in Japan, doesn't it? Even within a single country. As the notes showed, geography, history, culture, local expression, they intertwine in such unique ways.
Right. From ancient traditions and crafts to the nuances in modern music and dialect, each place really has its own story.
This deep dive, built entirely from your sources, truly felt like a shortcut to understanding what makes each of these 5 places special, beyond just the surface level stuff.
Yeah, totally. And the songs were such a perfect way to distill the essence of each prefecture.
They really were. They connected history, language, emotion in such a powerful, resonant way, often echoing the specific details and themes that the research notes laid the groundwork for.
Well, thank you for sharing these fascinating sources with us and allowing for this deep dive. It's honestly been a privilege to explore them with you.
Agreed. It's a reminder that there's always so much more to discover when you actually take the time to look closely at the details that define a place.
So as we wrap up, here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Based on the patterns we saw across these different regions, each holding on to its identity in its own way, how do we in our own places find ways to honor the past and express who we are, even as the world around us constantly changes? Something to think about.